welcome back to my channel. I'm very excited for today's video because I'm going to be setting up my 2026 reading journal. 2026 was my second full year of keeping a reading journal. I had done a setup video as well for 2025 if you're interested in watching that video as well. For the past couple of months, I found it kind of difficult to keep up with my reading journal. I think the way that I set up my reading journal for 2025 hasn't really been sustainable for how much free time I've had to sit down and do my journal, so it's been very hard to upkeep. And that's partially the reason why I'm so excited for my 2026 reading journal, because I think I found a way to make it more sustainable for me to keep up with every single month. I'm also starting a new journal for 2026 because I pretty much used up all the pages for my 2025 journal. This is a new journal that I bought for my 2026 reading journal. I think it is a regular A5 size if I'm not mistaken, but it is a slightly thicker paper than usual. It is 150 GSM instead of the usual 120. That's pretty much it for the intro. Let's get into my 2026 reading journal setup. Okay, starting off with the first page, I'm going to do this as my title page. I had to glue the first dotted page to this like thicker cardboard page because it would not lay flat. So this is what I'm working with for my title page. My thought process for the title pages and the setup pages for 2026 is to make it kind of green themed to match what I have for my book cover, but also I really want to incorporate some blue in some of the spreads as well because I have these really pretty washi tapes that I kind of want to use. The second reason I wanted to do some green theme is that I found this Smisky sticker sheet and I printed out all the Smiskies. I don't even own any Smiskies, but I thought this sticker sheet was so cute, so I wanted to incorporate it into my spreads in some way. I just cut them all out and now they're like sticker size and ready to be used in a spread. Starting out with the title page is probably going to be the easiest because I don't really have to put too much thought and effort into it. I kind of already have a plan of what I want to do for the initial title page. I have this green construction paper that I'm going to use as a background. I think for this year I'm going to do a mix of scrapbook spreads as well as more drawn on spreads, like the traditional bullet journal kind of style. So this is going to be a mix of scrapbooky pages as well as drawing pages. There's not going to be a very cohesive theme of either scrapbooking or drawing. I've also prepared these cutouts of these numbers for the year. I'm just going to also incorporate that into this page. So I think it's pretty much just going to be this green paper and then these numbers, and that's probably it. I don't think I'm going to add any of the Smisky stickers on this page or anything else. I'm just going to keep this fairly simple with this, and I think that's good enough for the title page. Already a bad start or bad luck, but I accidentally put glue on the wrong side of the 6. So I've been trying to rub the glue off of this side so it doesn't stick to this side, or I just have to let it dry, but now you can kind of see the glue residue on the 6. That is unfortunate, but this is kind of the layout I decided on. I'm debating on using like a black marker just to do a drop shadow on them, but I don't know if that makes it too harsh. And then I kind of want to go in with black marker on some of the white outlines here just to balance it out a bit more. But this is kind of what the beginning page it looks like for now. It is very simple, very plain. I ended up adding a very subtle drop shadow in. I'm not sure that I like the idea of that. I messed up my 2025 like initial spread as well, so I'd be kind of upset if I mess up this one as well. But I'm gonna leave it for now. Moving into the next page, this page is extra thick because I had to glue it together, and it's another piece of cardboard, and this is already 150 GSM paper, so it's a little bit on the thicker side. But flipping over, I have my series tracker. In previous years, I have done it kind of vertically, in which I listed out each and every book in that series so that I know what's next, but I don't really use this as a way to figure out what book I need to read next. So what I think I'm going to do instead is just do a horizontal layout and then make little boxes underneath it to color it in or check it off when I finish that book in the series, instead of writing out all of the books in the series. Here's a list of series that I'm going to be adding. This is a mix of series that I'm in the middle of, as well as ones that I'm anticipating that I will end up reading or that I want to put a little bit higher up on my radar. This is a very short one, but I definitely think I'll probably add more as the year goes on. Series to my series tracker. I think this is what I'm going to add for now, and I have a whole new page to work with if I start any more series. But now I'm just going to fill in the ones that I've already read so that this tracker does look a little bit more used. I like how clean this spread looks and like low effort in comparison to my series tracker of the past, because this was a lot more time consuming to create and to find all the book titles and put them in and stuff. However, it makes it a little bit harder to fill things in. Like for the Cosmere, for example, I don't even know what all 19 books are, so I will have to refer back to my 2025 list to see what book I need to read next in the Cosmere, for example. I might decide to add in this green washi tape somewhere just to give it a little bit more decoration, but I also don't know where I should add it. I've never been good with placing washi tape. I feel like there is an art to it, and I've just never been good at figuring out where to place washi tape, which is kind of strange because it's just tape and you should be able to like place it wherever you want, but I have problems with knowing where to place washi tapes all the time. Flipping over to the next page is my physical TBR and my TBR carryover for 2025. My thought process with this is that for my 2025 journal, I printed out a lot of my covers already in smaller sizes that I don't think I'm going to use for my main journal spreads. So I'm planning on putting them here for my physical TBR carryover and then my quote-unquote mental TBR carryover from 2025. So I think I'm going to set up this spread pretty simply just with the titles, because most of the page will be covered in book covers anyways. So that's kind of the plan for this spread. Physical TBR and TBR carryover page is looking like so far. I'm gonna hold off on doing this right now because I have most of the book covers printed out, but not all of them, and I want to be able to count how many I have and space them out properly. And then this is what the 2025 carryover looks like. I did mess up the title. I didn't save myself enough room below to write 2025, so it's TBR carryover from and then 2025 on top. That looks a little bit funny. I did mess up a little bit there, but that's okay. These are all the books that I wanted to read or reread in 2025 that I didn't get to, so they are kind of more on the top of my radar for the next year. So that's kind of why I wanted to put this in a journal spread, and then I'll do the same thing for the physical TBR before I do the final flip through. On to the next page, I have my books bought page. I'm also going to do a wish list on the side and then books bought on the side. I did not buy a lot of books in 2025, so I don't even think I need this big of a spread, but I do want a place to track it, and it's always better to have more space than too little. So basically I'm just going to do the boxes here. This will be my wish list, and this will be the books bought. It's pretty much going to be a blank page until I start filling things in for the year. Wish list page is looking like for now. I realized I didn't trim these edges, so I will do that now. Okay, now that I've trimmed those tape edges, this is what the page is looking like right now. I added in some things from my wish list just to give an idea of what it's supposed to look like once they're filled in. I made this theme blue. I know I'm making a pretty green theme for the rest of it, but I wanted to incorporate some blue because I have washi tapes that I really want to use. I'm going to skip ahead a few pages because I don't have the mental capacity to work on a few of these things right now. I've once again switched back to my brighter light because I do think it looks nicer and more clear. So the lighting will probably be very inconsistent as I flip through and see what looks better. But anyways, next page I'm going to work on is my 5-star faves. I had done a Hall of Fame last year in which I had picked my favorite book from every single month, and I did January to December, picked my favorite book, and that was in like my Hall of Fame. However, I never collected or did a setup page for my 5-star favorites, and those are kind of different. The only reason why I feel like this may be redundant is when I usually like a book a lot, I will make a separate spread for the book as a whole. For example, in 2025, these are 2 5-star books that I had, so I made a separate spread for them. So I don't know if it's redundant to have one page where I do all my 5-star faves if I continue to do these types of spreads, which I probably will. However, I think it might be nice to have all my 5-star favorites in one page so I can see them. My idea is to have brown paper. I have a lot of scrap, like brown, not tissue paper, but it's like that brown kind of craft paper. And I also also want to sketch out some vintage looking frames to make it look like a gallery wall. And when I have 5 stars, I can just print out the photo and then put it within the frame. So all of the books are kind of framed. That's my thought process right now. I don't know if I'll be able to execute it, so we shall see. We're starting back at square one with this 5-star faves page because I started drawing out the picture frames and what I had envisioned did not show up properly when I tried to draw it. So I cut out a brand new brown paper, and that's going to be it for this page. I'm going to let this spread be carried by book covers once I end up filling this page with reads. I have to work on is my 2026 TBR. I haven't finished my list of books that I want to read for 2026 yet. Last year I did 25 books I want to read in 2025. I'm probably going to do something similar for 2026 and write out 26 books that I want to read, and then I'm going to paste out all of the book covers onto this page, and that's what this is going to look like. And then I get to check them off as I go along, because that's what I did for 2025, which is pretty fun. I have finalized my list for my 2026 TBR, so I still need to print out these picture covers, but I'm just going to do the layout first, and then whenever I print out these book covers, I'll paste them in for the final flip through. So this page will look pretty plain when I don't have the covers in, but I'll add them for the final flip through. Okay, obviously the spread isn't done yet, but I did think that the lettering was missing something, so I added a drop shadow. I hate how the drop shadow turned out. I feel like I'm terrible at doing drop shadows and I should probably stop doing them because this turned out very bad. I think I should have done something different because I'm not a fan of how it looks, but hopefully once I add in the book covers, it'll be fine. I had this Misky sticker cutout that I wanted to use and like have it sitting on something, which it kind of looks like it's sitting on the 0, which I think is cute. Now moving into the next spread that I want to work on, which is the Hall of Fame spread. I did something similar for 2024 and 2025, in which I picked out my favorite book from each of the months. Here I've already sketched out the 12 months, so where the placements would go. I made them a little bit bigger than what I did in 2025 because I wanted to take up more room on the page. I think last year there was a little bit too much white space. I don't know if I'm going to fill in these boxes or just leave them as placeholders. Not sure yet, but that's kind of the plan for now. It's going to be a very simple spread until I start reading books and adding them into the Hall of Fame, so it's not going to look that pretty. I took a bit of a break yesterday and I have a couple of spreads left to finish. I think I only have 2 or 3, but they are the most time-consuming ones. So this one is going to be my monthly tracker. 2025, I did a tracker for how many books I read in a month, and then on the other side, I did my genre tracker, but I'm changing things up a bit. And for this year, I'm doing a monthly tracker or then a format tracker. So I typically only read books on my Kindle, either from my physical TBR, from the library, or on audio. So that's kind of the 4 options that I have. I am planning on doing like boxes and I'm going to fill them in as I read books. I do have a little key that I made. I accidentally crumpled this up and threw it in the recycling along with the other key that I made. So I might redo this little sheet so that I can keep it here as like a key and not have it be all wrinkly, but that's the plan for now for this spread. Spread that I've been dreading is the library / like bookshelf spread. I have done this for 2024 and 2025 and I really like how it turns out at the end. It's just very time consuming to do. Like I said, for 2025 I had done it differently, in which when I did my library bookshelf spread I had tracked it by the format that I read it in, but this year I decided to do by genre. I created a little key similar to what happened with my other key. I had crumpled this up and put it in the recycling as well, so I had to fish it out. I might redo this key so that I have a fresh new sheet to have for whenever I need to rely back on what colors I'm going to do. I'm basically going to draw everything in, add a little bit of decoration on the shelves. For last year, I think I did 100 books. I've never read 100 books in a year, but I wanted to fill up the shelf. For this year, I think I'm going to stick with outlining only 50, which is my reading goal for 2026. And then I've left the entire right side blank. And then if I read more books throughout the year, I can just fill them in instead of having non-colored books on the bookshelf. I think that'd be more visually appealing at the end of the year. In this setup is my bucket list / bingo page spread. This is what the 2025 version looked like. I have a couple of things that I still have left to fill in. I think I'd be able to get almost a full bingo except for author with my initials. I still haven't found an author or a book that I wanted to read with my initials, so I don't think I'm going to get a full bingo. I'm going to do a very similar layout. I really liked how I pasted the book covers into the bingo so I could see which book relates to which bingo prompt. I'm going to be doing something very similar for 2026, and it's going to be a very blank spread until I start reading books that complete the bingo prompts. Okay, I just finished up doing all of the prompts for the book bingo spread, and I think I'm going to add in a couple of details. I might add in these smiskies that I have left over interacting with some of the decoration on the pages. Here are some of the examples for prompts that I use. I pretty much just took off any prompts that I saw on the internet. I've been trying to make my reading more diverse, so I've added in a couple of prompts that I think would entice me to read more diversely. Almost done with the book journal. I just have to print out the photos, and that's the last thing that I'll probably add before we get on with the flip through. That I did for my 2026 reading journal setup. I hope you're able to get some inspiration from the spreads or inspiration for what type of spreads that you want to do for your reading journal. And if not, I hope this video was a cozy backdrop to you working on your own reading journal. This year's reading journal setup was a multi-day project, but I had a lot of fun setting it up. I am pretty happy with all the spreads that I worked on. I remember last year for 2025, I was only like 80% happy with the spreads that I did for the reading journal. But I'm very excited about the 2026 reading journal setup and all the spreads that I had done. I'm like pretty happy with most of them, so I'm very excited to crack into a new journal and get started on updating my reading journal for the new year. That pretty much wraps up this video. I hope you enjoyed watching. If you want to keep up to date with what I'm reading outside of YouTube videos, my Goodreads and Fable are always linked in the description below. Since this video will probably be my last one before the holidays, I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays if you celebrate, as well as a Happy New Year. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.